Nigeria, with successive elections, 11 known military coups, and finally the return to democratic rule in 1999. The earnest expectation of citizens and those who do business in and with Nigeria has been that of an ideal business environment. As giant of Africa, Nigeria's growth and development is viewed to deliver the emergence of an established modern, middle-income, safe and secure economy that is diversified and propelled by technology. 23 years and counting, so much has been achieved and so much more remains to be achieved.
So help me God.
Creation of 25 million jobs, thereby taking 35 million people out of poverty.
Ghana, Gambia, Kenya, everywhere. I want to see my product everywhere.
Focus home first. I tell you, we don't need to go looking for buyers. They will come here to buy this things.
The group, probably before tax, is over 62 billion naira. It's the best result we have had.
I can assure you, before the end of this year, that microfinance bank will take off.
And we're also depending on them on what even now drives our industries and cooks our meals.
While hopes and aspirations of building a greater Nigerian economy was being nurtured with carefully chosen steps aimed at implementing workable policies, the whole world came to a standstill. Human interaction was limited and markets were shut down, leaving humanity and livelihoods in jeopardy, barely struggling to survive. Three years and counting, the virus has left in its trail a struggling global economy. Nigeria, with a population of more than 200 million, comprising a small and medium-scale enterprise that accounts for more than 50% of industrial jobs and 84% of total employment, is not an exception. A timely intervention by government through stimulus packages, easing lending terms by the nation's apex bank, and budgetary adjustments made a difference.
Budgets are now prepared on the GIFMIS system, and we have quarterly budget performance reports that are prepared and posted on the website of the Budget Office of the Federation to meet with the visibility and transparency requirement that the President has committed to. We also have a transparency portal in the Office of the Accountant General, still again to enable citizens to interrogate what we're doing in terms of public financial management.
Budgets are essential instruments for achieving government strategic objectives and plans for the socio-economic development of the nation. Nigeria's economic sustainability plan has been tied to the budget since the last economic downturn and designed to further deliver on the goals of government's economic policies. The plan provides a clear roadmap for post-coronavirus economic recovery as a transitional plan between the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan of 2017 to 2020 and now the successor medium-term National Development Plan of 2021 to 2025.
It contains all our prioritized programs and projects for 5 years. And the projects specifically have been costed. And because they have been costed, we have a good knowledge of what is required in terms of financing the plan. And therefore, we were able to put in strategies to say, how will this financing come in? Should it be through the government budget? Should it be PPP driven? Should it be by securitization? A couple other sources of funding were also worked on in the plan.
The 2021 to 2023 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper provide economic framework for the budget. Budget 2022 is tagged Budget of Economic Growth and Sustainability.
We have a performance monitoring framework that has got clear key performance indicators for every ministry, department, and agency.
The war between Russia and Ukraine brought in a new twist to the budget as the ripple effects continue to spread globally. Already, the budget has been supplemented with increased borrowing to augment low income. Exchange rate remains high above the benchmark. Crude oil output also not optimal and power supply insufficient.
To develop the oil and gas sector, and it's now a matured economy. We've been able to grow the economy and diversify it to the extent that the Nigerian economy today, only the oil and gas industry contributes only 7.4% of the GDP, which means largely 93.6% of the economy is non-oil and gas sector.
Latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics show Nigeria's economy maintained a positive trend for the sixth consecutive quarter, recording an output growth of 3.11% year-on-year. This shows sustained growth since the recession witnessed in 2020, when output contracted by -6.10% and -3.62% in quarter 2 and quarter 3 of 2020 under the COVID pandemic.
Then, if you look at the economy as it is today, 92% of our GDP is the organized private sector.
The success of the upward trend in economic growth is attributable to the fiscal and monetary policies.
MPC voted to 1. Raise NPR to 13%, 2. Retain asymmetric corridor of plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the NPR, retain the CRR at 27%, but also urged the management to continue to use its discretionary powers to mop up liquidity where they find it, to ensure that we maintain a very tight monetary liquidity in the system. And 4, retain liquidity ratio at 30%. The bank further reaffirmed its commitment to continue to provide support to priority sectors as the need arises to support growth.
The impact of these policies goes further to rub on investments in the macro, small and medium enterprises.
In the 5 years of BMCAF that I've been in business, one of the things I've seen is that there've been so much from government on ease of doing business. They've been trying to make entrepreneurs not to crumble. Because I think this government believes that the entrepreneurs are the future of this country generally. And so if they've put so much effort, and when I say they've put so much effort, I mean from the Agnes loan, I mean from the survival fund, I'm talking of from the COVID-19 loan, I'm talking from the several grants. I'm talking from several grants that I see Lagos State give grants, I see other states come up with grants. Recently, I've seen FCT also doing the same thing from Abuja Enterprise Agency. So I've seen the government trying to put so much effort on entrepreneurs, SMEs particularly. And I must say the truth, because I want to believe they're putting in so much effort because they believe that entrepreneurs are the future of the country.
Why are you giving money to the entrepreneurs? To do what? To upgrade their own products, and you leave them with it. Let's patronize it. I tell you, once you do that, you apply this, you might not even bother about the foreign exchange. It will come after you, giving you offer. You say, no, it's $2 is not good for me, $3 or no deal.
We're also doing a survey called Marketplace MSME Data Gathering. So we will now have in our database those companies that are, for example, if you are in fish production, we'll have companies that are producing fish feed. We'll be able to matchmake you. If you are in shoe production, we have companies that are producing leather, so that we'll be able to matchmake you. So we feel with this, because at times you may not know that you can get your product next door, and then you will go into a source from Lagos. So these are the kind of networking that we are doing to assist SMEs to, possibly outsource markets, to possibly get their products to end users.
Go Global, Go certification. And the essence of that program is to identify SMEs that are producing and their products are of a particular standard. So we initiated that program and connected them to various certifying bodies. And such bodies, some of them are foreign, some of them are Nigerian. They came to Nigeria, look at those products and their system, their processes of producing those products, and they issue them various forms of certifications. We have the HACCP, that's Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point. We have the Halal. We have the FDA for US if you want to enter the US market. So this is what we're doing. And right now, we have issued certificates to over 50 SMEs. And all these certifications were sponsored or financed wholly by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. And the essence is to ensure that we empower our SMEs and also reduce cases of rejection of our products in the international market.
To support micro, small, and medium enterprises, the bank disbursed 1.5 billion to 2,718 new projects through the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme (ASMIS) for activities in fish farming, rice processing, wheat farming, poultry farming, livestock farming, ICT, and tailoring, among others. This brings the cumulative disbursement under the ASMIS to 136.13 billion naira. Under the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Scheme, the bank disbursed 2.7 billion to support youths engaged at various nodes of the agricultural value chain, bringing the total disbursement under this intervention to 98.88 billion naira to 749 MSME projects across the country.
Having an MSME bank is not as easy as you talk. And then given the way the economy is now, we are still in the forefront of it. And a number of business members organizations have also approached us that they believe that will solve the problem. But in the meantime, let's do with the Bank of Industries, Bank of Agric that we have now, but pending when that will become a reality of having an MSME bank, the agency has decided to have what we call an MSME microfinance bank. So that microfinance bank is being funded by the agency and some other partners. We have BMOs, we have Association Women in Enterprise Development. They have all paid off their capital, and the agency too have paid off. We are just about finalizing, and I can assure you, before the end of this year, that microfinance bank will take off.
With the assurances of an establishment of a microfinance bank by SMEDEN, specifically for addressing the funding needs of MSMEs before year-end, the calls for increased revenue generation by the Federal Inland Revenue Service becomes louder.
There is no country that will develop without taxes paid for these infrastructures to be provided. That is the first conversation. The second conversation is about those that are given the responsibility of managing these taxes that you pay.
But we've also put in place a monthly revenue monitoring committee, a presidential committee that looks at all the revenues reported by the revenue generating agencies, reconciles it to the bank, the actual amounts that is shown in the bank accounts. That has helped us also to strengthen the remittances and block delays and leakages that used to happen.
Nigeria's public debt stock as at 31st December 2021 stood at 39.556 trillion naira, with a budgetary provision to borrow another 6.39 trillion naira in 2022.
The rise in global debt is also an unfolding dilemma which policymakers must carefully evaluate and address to avert a near-term global financial crisis.
The recently passed Petroleum Industry Act and the Decade of Gas Initiative have repositioned Nigeria as an investment destination of choice in oil and gas. With these enabling platforms, Nigeria can facilitate more impactful energy deals, market the country's reformed energy sector, and attract both regional and international investors.
This is great in the sense that, we'll now be just another national oil company like our peers in Aramco, Equinox, and very many other national oil companies that we are seeing. There's a lot of hope on us by the international community in general. As we may be aware, gas is now seen as the transition fuel for the world. And we have enormous gas resources in this country, over 203 trillion scope of gas proven, and also potentially up to 600 trillion scope of gas. The world is looking up to NNPC and Nigeria in particular as a supplier of value because we hold very clearly very large fragment of large proportion of the global gas inventories in the world. There are very recent engagements between us and very many other potential stakeholders so that we can build gas, we can liquefy it and sell it into the international market. We can convert them into basic chemicals that the world needs, urea, methanol, fertilizer, and so on. And this is working, and this is essentially being delivered.
What we want to achieve, the philosophy behind this, is to attract investors to Nigeria, to produce as much of this crude in the ground as possible.
In speeding up the recovery process, more interventions are being deployed to boost non-oil exports and diversify revenue sources, with the latest being the Export for Survival initiative by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
It will generate employment, it will bring in the forex, it will develop our industries, and of course, it will bring up a better economy. And just like President Buhari said, that a time will come we don't need this oil, and we need non-oil export to survive. And that's the initiative behind the Export for Survival campaign.
Amid these challenges, companies continue to declare profits, which is evident to the fact that there is progress on the journey to economic prosperity.
From the profit that we declared for 2021, the group profit before tax is slightly over 62 billion naira. It's the best result we have had in the 62 years that the bank had been in existence, which means in spite of the disruptions, in the economy, the bank has thrived. Why? Because even though we had the pandemic, we were working. We were raising money. How come we're able to do that? Because we had systems in place and platforms that could allow us to do that. In the last 4 years, we have brought into this country close to $4 billion US. And we're going to do more. This year alone, we have raised 750 million euros from the Eurobond. It's the first time that it's been done by any DFI owned by government in the whole of Africa. If you look at the bank in the last 62 years, it has thrived, it has survived, it has been successful, and we are praying that the next 62 years will be more successful.
The positive economic performance in the latest economic data released by the National Bureau of Statistics is attributed to recent rise in global economic activities, leading to rise in crude oil demand and price, coupled with the various stimulus economic packages being executed by the federal government, which is positively impacting on development.
As someone that don't know anybody in the government, but people hardly believe me, that I personally, whatever I have benefited has been through filling my forms online, through following the due process and getting selected duly. I want to believe that if every government comes in and keep pushing this way, we will not just celebrate democracy at 23, we will celebrate the best process of democracy so far, because entrepreneurs that have benefited will genuinely tell you the truth that it has grown their business from whatever they have before to be a better position. I personally want to see my product everywhere. I want to sit down and see my product in Lome, Ghana, Gambia, Kenya, everywhere. I want to see my product everywhere. I want to see my product in, as in not just African country. I want to see my product in US, UK. Yes, we do. We have our product in US. But as much as we're in US, I want to still see volume going into US. I want to see volume in UK. I want to be able to be part of those people, that product, that brand that will be the face of Nigeria everywhere in the world.
We should have our own Nigerian standard first, and also get the international required equipment to process these goods and ask for premium for them. And for instance, now you see there are certifications which are accepted worldwide, like the halal certification.
Over 1,000 SMEs benefited from the Export Development Fund, and over 280 SMEs also benefited from the COVID Relief Fund. And from the result we are having, because we have been going on an impact assessment of the project, and from the report we are having, it has saved jobs, industries have been developed, new products have been also developed, and so it's a wonderful program, it was a wonderful fund, and of course, I hope the federal government will also in its wisdom consider releasing more funds to NEPC for such interventions.
However, this joy has for the better part of 2022 been threatened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine amid rising inflation. Latest inflation figures show a rise to 16.8% in April, the latest in 8 months, driven by fuel price increases and accelerating cost for food. Annual food inflation rose to 18.4% from 17.2% in March.
Now you have inflation, ranging at about 18% and growing every day. You have food inflation almost at the same levels. Okay, you have urban and rural inflation, but the worst is the food inflation. Okay, and for the very simple reason that we are not substituting our imports, from either Russia or Ukraine. We are depending on them for probably what is at the heart of our food chain, which is wheat, fats, and oils. Okay, we are also depending on them on what even now drives our industries and cooks our meals, okay, which is gas and petroleum products. So we're not talking about impact now, we're talking about consequences.
The global supply disruptions fueled by the war has driven upward prices of wheat, while shortage of crude oil products have affected the entire transport system.
There's a very popular saying in Africa that when you wake up is your morning. So I dare to say that it is time for us to wake up, because you see, you can contain anything. One thing no country has been able to contain is the rage of hunger.
The 2023 general elections are not far from now, about less than a year, and Nigerians are optimistic. It is an opportunity to choose a future that will consolidate on the gains of the past, and also a prosperous future in line with the national vision.